Kahala Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rahava Kakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth to rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom. This is Matazah Lacham, which means unleavened bread in the Lashawan Kodash language. Fair use. This video is for commentary, educational purposes, and news reporting only. It is not monetized. I don't want any money. Okay. I was thinking about the star Wormwood and what it meant, and so I did a little bit of research, just very little. I'm just going off what the biblical scriptures say as what wormwood is. Okay, but I want to put this biblical scripture out there just in case I may be wrong. Okay, 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 16. As also, speaking of these things in all his letters, some of his comments are hard to understand, and those who are ignorant and unstable have twisted his letters to mean something quite different, just as they do with other parts of Scripture, and this will result in their destruction. Okay? And I'm not trying to fall away from my steadfastness in following Yahweh while Yahweh Shai. Ain't going to happen if I can help it. I'm telling you. Okay? I just wanted to explain wormwood. Okay? Because a lot of people, let's go get it. Revelation chapter 8, verse 11, was it? Yep. Okay, let's start at verse 10. Revelation chapter 8, verse 10, and the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. Okay, so let's go get definition of what it means in wormwood, right?
Strong's G 894. Absinthion.
Wormwood, the name of a star which fell into the waters and made them bitter, as a type of bitterness. Okay, uncertain derivation. Okay. It's a type of bitterness, i.e. figuratively a calamity. And what's going on right now is the calamity of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. They're on TikTok videos because I've seen the brother endure to the end, or endure the last days for arrows of indignation, right? And hopeful elect for putting out videos about all of these Edomites complaining, bitching, and whining about they can't pay their bills, they can't do this, they can't do that. They're bitter and pissed off. And the MAGA movement, these MAGA maniacs, have turned their back on Agent Orange. Agent Orange, Donald Trump was saying that he no longer needs their support. He's pissed off that his MAGA maniacs that follow him blindly like a fucking robot, are pissed off at him because he lied. And that was the horse that he rode in to the second presidency on, that he wouldn't push the central bank digital currency, and that he would open up the Jeffrey Epstein files and let everybody know and declassify them, right? So he retracted his promise on to the MAGA movement of these MAGA maniacs, on the Jeffrey Epstein's files. Okay, retracted on that, backed all the way up. Man, why are you guys pissed off about this guy, Jeffrey Epstein? He's a perv. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? That doesn't change the fact that you were friends with this faggot for 35 years. Right? Was he not friends with this devil? So, the waters of this... Okay, let's go get that. Let me see. Where was that at? Wormwood definition. Let's get it. Wormwood definition. Define wormwood in the Bible. Definition Old English. Let's see. Let's start at one. A woody shrub, whatever. Okay, the Bible definition of wormwood. Right? What is the Bible definition of wormwood? It is noted for its intense bitterness. Right? A type of bitterness, affliction, remorse, punitive suffering. Okay? The spiritual meaning of wormwood. In a spiritual context, wormwood derived from the plant Artemisia absinthium often symbolizes bitterness, sorrow, and divine judgment. Particularly in religious and magical practices, it is associated with negative experiences and consequences stemming from wrongdoing. Okay? And it is used in rituals for banishing, spiritual communication, and protection. Biblical meaning. Wormwood is used metaphorically in the Bible to represent the bitter effects of immorality, injustice, and apostasy. Okay? Now, that just popped in my head. Wormwood. Damn, what does that mean? So I typed it in the Bible and blew the Bible. We went there, right? And then this is what it's called. Represent it. In Revelation 8:11, the star called wormwood represents a bitter and poisonous substance that pollutes water, symbolizing the consequences of sin and judgment. Right? Painful sorrow and consequences of sin and wrongdoing. Okay? Okay, let's see. Let's go from there to... Where was I at? Where was I? Okay. Right, it's... Right. Okay. What was it? Revelation. Let's go get it. Revelation 17. Salakia. There it is. Revelation chapter 17 and 15. And he said, okay, let's start at verse 14, right, for some context. Revelation chapter 17, verse 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. Who are they? The 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So all of these nations, all of these heathen nations, EU, NATO, BRICS, are all going to side with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, Gog and Magog, right? Because in Ezekiel chapter 38, it explains that Gog, which is Vladimir Putin, and Magog, which is Russia, okay, is going to be a umbrella against Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, on the other side of the pond, right? So, like Yahweh Shah had stated, division, okay, and Satan be divided against. Satan be divided against himself. Boom. Right. Mark chapter 3, verse 26. And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. Right? So the military-industrial complex of America, Babylon the Great, is going to be turned their back. All of the heathen nations are going to turn their back on America. Okay? They got till August 1st. Donald Trump said that he gave a 30% tariff increase on Mexico and the EU and NATO. Okay? Now, this tariff increase was originally designed. Now, I speak as a man. I'm not sure, but I speak as a man. Okay? I believe since these Edomites on a global scale realize that the Israelites of the Holy Bible, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are waking up to the fact that they're the Israelites of the Holy Bible, and they know that they are the Israelites of the Holy Bible, they're going to turn to the east and call upon the name of the Father, the true biblical Hebrew name of the Father, who is Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, the creator of the heavens, the earth, the sea, all that is therein, and the foundations of water. They're going to turn to the east and call upon the name of the Father, and the Father is coming. They looked in 2016 during Donald Trump's first presidency. They looked in through, what is it? I forgot, the Oculus, or it was the James Hubble and the James Webb telescopes in the furthest reaches of outer space, and they saw an armada of starships hurtling towards the Earth at sublight speed. Towards the Earth at sublight speed. The trajectory of the elliptical orbit of all of the planets in their orbit around the sun and our solar system have all changed their elliptical orbit. Time has sped up. Everything, right? The spinning of the sun, the spinning of the elliptical orbit of the planets around the Earth. You have blood moons. You have giant blue moons. You having all of these things are in effect of biblical prophecy being fulfilled as it is written in Joel chapter 2 concerning what's going on as far as the signs of heaven in the heavens, right? But Jeremiah chapter 2 verse 10, I think it is, or chapter 5 verse 10, I can't remember, concerning that, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. And the heathen being dismayed want us as God's chosen people destroyed once and for all. That was the reason for the tariffs. That way it'll be a perfectly good reason for all the nations to combine all of their might and give all of their power to the beast. The beast will push the button on America and melt the joint, thereby destroying 2/3 of God's chosen people. Okay, which is all to bring about biblical prophecy. As I said before, I speak as a man. I mean, I just, that's the only thing that makes any sense that I could see as the reason why they're rushing forward with their plans. Like it says in Job. Let's go get Job right quick. Job chapter 5 verse 13. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in the noonday as in the night. Right? That's exactly what they're doing. Right? They find it is dark in the daytime, and they grope at noon as if it were night. As if it were night. Okay? And night is a symbol, is a Salakia. And nighttime and darkness is symbolic for the height of wickedness in the earth. Okay, and we are almost at the height of wickedness. Can't you see it? You know, the 10 tribes of Israel. Okay, like it says in 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 40. Okay, are being persecuted by Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. You think they're not coming after us next? They want to exterminate us in the street. The Negroes, they just want to shoot us down, along with the indigenous population of people that were here, who were the Indians, so-called. Okay, but they're the so-called Native Americans, which is the tribe of Gad. Okay, Reuben, and the half tribe of Manasseh. That's who they are, man. Okay, that were here in this land. Okay. Anyway, where was I at? Let's go back to Revelation chapter 17, wasn't it? And 15, right? Okay. The 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Right? BRICS nations, right? These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Right? That's what they've done. They've given their power over to Gog and Magog, right? Because he's a shield or a protective covering unto them. Let's go get that. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 7. Yeah, a guard, Salakia. Let's go get all the nations that are part of BRICS nations today. Okay. Ezekiel 38 and 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, okay, is putting in the mind of Vladimir Putin, because like it says in Job chapter 33 verse 14 through 17, he controls the minds and hearts of men. He whispers in their dreams their instruction and seals their instruction in their mind on their beds. Okay? That's the reason why it says in Micah chapter 2 verse 1. Wow, trying to put this all together. All the biblical scriptures are coming together precept upon precept, right? Okay, and it's making a bigger picture, right? So these are going to bring these into the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer, which is Turkey, and all their bands, the house of Tergama, which is Turkey of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. That's Turkey and NATO. Turkey and NATO, and then you have Turkey in the south, right? Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Okay, so going back to Revelation chapter 17, was it 10? All right, boom, 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 boom. Okay. Verse 12 are the 10 horns, which thou sawest with 10 kings, because the original BRICS nations ended up being 10 nations. If you go look, there's about 10 or 11 nations. And then you have other nations that are willing to sign up after them. Okay? This is going to force that van der Leyen chick, which is the CEO or chief of NATO and EU, right, to turn her back on Babylon the Great. With great shame, right? Because the mother that bore America is going to be ashamed, right? And that's how that whole thing is going to go out. Okay. Victory for the Lamb. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The children of Israel, right? Judah, Benjamin, the Levite priests, right? And the other 10 tribes. The Levite priests are a tribe, but they don't have any wealth or anything, supposedly, because they're the priests. So that's the actual church for the Israelites. So what we do, our job is to give 10% of what we have to the Levite priests. So this way they do have substance. You see what I'm saying? Everybody does the same thing at the Catholic Church, at the Christian church, every Sunday, whatever have you. You see what I'm saying? So you should be able to see that. Anyway, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Right? Now, that was my point at being wormwood about the waters. Wormwood would hit the waters of the earth, and the horse sitteth upon many waters. Babylon the Great, in control of everybody, because they have a United States consulate. You have a U.S. military base in every country on the face of the earth. You see what I'm saying? And they can roll out their military on any of the nations in which they have their United Nations military bases and their consulates in, the U.S. embassies. You see what I'm saying? And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So all of the peoples of the world are pissed off. Let's go back to where was I at? Wormwood are pissed off, right? And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters, right? We all know the third part of men is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, because there are three sons of the Most High. You have the sons of God, right, which are the Israelites. You have the sons of men, which are the heathen nations, and then you have the sons of perdition, which are the Edomites. Okay, they are the third part of the sons of men that are going to be destroyed, the sons of perdition, the men of sin, right? And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters, right? Waters of peoples, tongues, and nations, in which the horse sitteth, right? Became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. All this is going to bring about is martial law because of the civil unrest and of the people being pissed off. They're already pissed off because Donald Trump and that cunt, Kristi Noem, are misusing the enemy's Aliens Act of 1798. They're misusing it and abusing it to come against the Israelites of the Holy Bible in order to persecute them. Okay, separating the men from the children from the women. The children are going to be sold off into sex slaves or for worship of false gods or whatever have you for all of these nations. These are the individuals that are implicated on the Jeffrey Epstein list. That's the reason why the people are, the hearts and minds of the people, the waters, have been made bitter. Their hearts and minds have been made bitter against Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, Donald Trump, Agent Orange, the MAGA maniacs, right? The MAGA movement. Make America great again. Make America white all over. Okay? That's basically what they're out to do. Okay? That's the only way to try to quell white privilege and white supremacy, is get rid of the people. But he's in it, which he knows what he's doing. He's doing this. He's a puppet. He works for the elite. The elite are BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. Don't forget that. These motherfuckers own all of agriculture, all of the monetary systems, the Bank of International Settlements, all of that shit. They have diplomatic immunity. Let's go get diplomatic immunity. Diplomatic immunity is a principle of international law that grants certain foreign government officials, like ambassadors, exemptions from the laws and legal jurisdiction of that host country. So BlackRock has diplomatic immunity. State Street has diplomatic immunity. State Street, right? And Vanguard have diplomatic immunity. Okay? They have exemption from the law. Okay? This means they are not subject to local arrest, detention, or prosecution for most crimes. Most crimes nowadays is bordering on genocide, right? Though their home country can waive this immunity for serious offenses. That's what they have The Hague for, right? And the World Tribunal to bring B.B. Kowalski, a.k.a. Benjamin Netanyahu, into into court and charge him for crimes against humanity. But shit, you can do the same thing with Agent Orange, right? Is he not implementing the same crimes against humanity, against the indigenous population of people that actually help make America great? What the actual fuck? Okay? And putting them and going and getting huge alligators, 17, 18-foot alligators that are not indigenous to the Florida area, and putting them there. So this way they could breed with the alligators that are smaller that are there, in order to make these individuals, the individuals I'm referring to, are the Israelites that are in these encampments, fearful of their lives. If there's a hurricane, if there's a monsoon, if there's a heavy rain season, that's going to cause flooding in that area, because that's a low-lying area. It's a low-lying area. Since that's the case, the floodwater is going to flood in. That means them goddamn alligators can swim right on through that fence, bust through that fence. The people that are there floating at the top trying to get air, once they start getting sucked under, people start to see blood. You see, this is what they're not putting in the mainstream media, which they're not going to do that. Okay? The destruction of America will not be televised. Okay? The Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is going to make sure that everybody in the world sees the destruction of America. Okay? He's going to make sure everybody sees it, because it's already biblically prophesied that the men shall see her burning from afar off. Right? Let me finish. This means they are not subject to local arrest, detention, or persecution for most crimes, though their home country can waive this immunity for serious offenses. Diplomatic immunity is intended to facilitate the safe and effective performance of diplomatic duties by allowing diplomats to operate without fear of undue interference or harassment from the host country. Purpose: diplomatic immunity aims to ensure the smooth functioning of international relations by protecting the diplomats from potential legal issues that could hinder their work. It generally covers both criminal and civil jurisdiction, but there are exceptions, especially for actions related to private immovable property or commercial activities outside their official functions. Okay, reciprocity. The concept of diplomatic immunity is based on reciprocity, meaning that the host country also benefits from the same protections when its diplomats are stationed in other countries. Right? U.S. Embassy, U.S. military bases. Right? So if you are in another country, okay, that host country could, that U.S. embassy would give you diplomatic immunity from whatever crimes that you commit in that country. So these Edomites go to other countries committing heinous crimes, and they go back to the U.S. embassy and ask for a diplomatic asylum, and they ship back to their home. No problem here in America. And then the U.S. Embassy gets word that the individuals that they're looking for, which will forever be on the list of, what is it? Interpol, okay, which is the International Police Force, right? But it doesn't change anything because they would still be on that list. Okay, let's go get, let's see, it was diplomatic immunity that I was looking for, and then I was looking for the other one. Oh, God damn, I can't remember the other one. Okay. Damn, it's diplomatic immunity. And damn it, I can't remember. It'll come to me when I'm not looking for it. Watch. That's what it usually shows up. All right, but anyway, so they're not effective on habeas corpus or anything. But anyway, back to Revelation 8, verse 11. The name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. Okay, so the third part of the moon, the third part of the sun, the third part of them was the darkened, and the third part of it in the night likewise. Okay, I was reading Revelation 8, and I went into wormwood. What is wormwood, right? So, I just went into what the definition of wormwood would be. You know what I mean? Okay, and come to find out the biblical definition. Okay, definition in the Bible. Okay, it represents the bitter realities of life, divine punishment, extreme bitterness, used as a symbol of sorrow, judgment, and consequences of sin, and the painful results of disobedience or unfaithfulness. You see? What does wormwood mean biblically? Okay, a purely symbolic representation of the bitterness that will fill the earth during troubled times. Okay, and get back, boy. Damn. Okay. I know it sounds like he needs water, whatever. But yeah, like I said before, I don't know. I was just reading. It's like, wormwood. What the hell does that mean? Okay, right? So, anyway, bitterness, sorrow, and divine judgment. Particularly in magical practices or religious matters, it is associated with negative experiences and consequences stemming from wrongdoing. And the MAGA movement feel that they've been done wrong. They've been lied to by Donald Trump, Agent Orange, right? Okay, let me see if I can go and get that one video. Okay. Hold on, let me see. Let's go over here. Okay. All right. Boom.
What's happening today is the groundwork is being laid. It's all in the name of cryptocurrency and stablecoin, but it is the entire regulatory process to switch us from cash to a cashless society to digital currency that can be controlled by the federal government.
There you go. While we were all distracted with the Epstein list and all the drama between Mr. Golden Dawn and Chip in the Brain and wars and rumors of wars, we can see that the Mark of the Beast Infrastructure Act has been passed. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I say Mark of the Beast Infrastructure Act? I meant the Genius Act. As we can see right here, House passes Stablecoin Genius Act. Short little summary right here is the House approved legislation to regulate stablecoins Thursday and later approved 2 other crypto bills. Well, now for those wondering, what does this mean? Well, it shows that we are one step closer to the Great Tribulation with the Mark of the Beast and a complete surveillance enslavement state. So we can see right here from this article, the Senate just passed the Genius Act, CBDCs in sheep's clothing. Now I will go ahead and read some of this article for you guys right here. So on June 18th, while the country was distracted with headlines about Mr. Golden Dawn and Iran, the U.S. Senate quietly advanced the Genius Act, a bill designed to, quote, legitimize, unquote, stablecoins. But in reality, it paves the way for a permissioned, surveilled, and tightly controlled digital currency regime. Now, apparently, according to this author, they predicted this back in their own piece titled The Great CBDC Bait and Switch. We warned the stablecoins would be used as a Trojan horse to usher in the exact same kind of financial surveillance grid promised by central bank digital currencies, which is CBDCs. My goodness, who could have saw this coming? I don't know. Now let's continue with this article. Framed as a regulatory win for innovation, the Genius Act, or what I like to call it, the Mark of the Beast Act, does far more than set rules. It effectively mandates that all legal stablecoins will fully be backed, regulated, audited, and integrated into the surveillance machinery of the U.S. state. Wow, lovely. Only permitted payment stablecoin issuers may operate, and those issuers must comply with extensive oversight under the Bank Secretary Act, including KYC, AML, and sanctions enforcement. In other words, no privacy, no independence, and no dissent. Well, of course, what did these crypto bros think the government was going to do once they got their hands into cryptocurrency? Well, let's continue. The Act even instructs the Treasury Department to evaluate new financial surveillance tech, including, oh, look at that, AI-powered monitoring systems and blockchain analysis tools. These technologies, we're told, will help, quote, assess privacy risks, as if privacy itself is the threat. And as he continues to say, let's be honest about what really is going on, a nationalized control grid disguised as modernization. Well, yeah, this is the beast system. Now, the old CBDC fear, it just got a fresh coat of paint and a bipartisan smile. Republicans and Democrats alike are pushing the Genius Act. I wonder why. Pretending it's a win for decentralization. But these stablecoins aren't free market crypto. They're government approved. No duh. Heavily surveilled and programmable currencies that can be frozen, tracked, and weaponized at any moment. Now, I'm sure in the future there will be a mark that you must take to be able to use this stable coin, or you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade without that mark. Hey, what do I know? Now it's happening. The same regime that dropped the CTR threshold to $200 in border towns, surveilling people for withdrawing petty cash, will absolutely leverage these new rules to micro-track every digital transaction. You don't say. We'll add that to the list of Orwellian end times measures that this regime has implemented, as we saw the passing of the Big Brother bill, the Big Beautiful bill on July 4th, which was just a big bill building a big police state. Say that 10 times fast. Where that mega bill expanded the biometric surveillance state. Now, let's be honest, guys. This should not be a surprise to anybody who has been paying attention that this right here is the end goal. Now, with this being said, it is just another box being checked to the long list of Bible prophecy that we are witnessing unfold right in front of our eyes. We are witnessing the buildup for the beast system, for the end times deception, the end times system, the infrastructure, the AI Antichrist beast system, building all around us right in front of our eyes. So,
okay. Now, let me see if I can go and find, okay, let me go get, there it is.
Number 8, we will finally complete the biometric entry-exit visa tracking system, which we need desperately. For years, Congress has required biometric entry-exit visa tracking systems, but it has never been completed. The politicians are all talk, no action, never happens, never happens. Hillary Clinton, all talk. Unfortunately, when there is action, it's always the wrong decision. Do you ever notice? In my administration, we will ensure that this system is in place. And I will tell you, it will be on land, it will be on sea, it will be in air. We will have a proper tracking system. Number 9, we will turn off the jobs and benefits magnet. We will ensure that E-Verify is used to the fullest extent possible under existing law, and we will work with Congress to strengthen and expand its use across the country. Immigration law doesn't exist for the purpose of keeping criminals out. It exists to protect all aspects of American life: the work site, the welfare office, the education system, and everything else. That is why immigration limits are established in the first place. Number 10, we will reform legal immigration to serve the best interests of America and its workers.
Okay. Now, It's all about enslavement. The 2HB1 bill, I think it is, allows illegal immigrants to work on a work visa in America for free, a room and board. That's all it's good for. It's not good for anything else. Okay? That's free slave labor because they don't have to pay them. They're just giving them a place to stay. That's just what they did with us in slavery. We just had free room and board. They didn't pay us for the enslavement that we had to endure. Picking cotton, oranges, tomatoes, watermelon, whatever have you. Okay? Which expounded white privilege, white supremacy, and gave these goddamn Edomites the opportunity to be 250 years ahead of any, as far as finances is concerned, ahead of anyone else. But wormwood has hit the earth, which is symbolic of a divine judgment from the Most High God to make everything bitter for the wickedness that they've committed to the children of Israel. Okay?
Latin people, workers. We're going to take care of our workers. And by the way, we're going to make great trade deals. We're going to renegotiate trade deals. We're going to bring our jobs back home.
Now, we all know that's a goddamn lie. From 2016, he ain't brought no jobs. All he did was he sent the fucking jobs elsewhere. And the jobs that we wanted to keep in the Latino neighborhoods and communities, he's getting rid of the Latino communities. He's going to make these so-called white people work out in the fields. Do you honestly believe that these Caucasians are going to go to work in the hot sun, right, and work hard? Do you really? Okay, that's the plan. That's always been the plan. And if you pay attention to this flag behind this lying orange-colored snake, those fringes of yellow, that means maritime law. That's the law of the 7 seas. Okay? That's what he's making all these references to, having jobs come back, all this other bullshit, of the law of the 7 seas. The law of the land is the Constitution of the United States in the Holy Bible. Okay? That doesn't have anything to do with maritime law. But when you see fringes on flags like this, that's about maritime law. That's about ownership. The government owns you when you walk into that courtroom for any reason. Okay? That you have the receipts of ownership that the government owns you. It's called a social security card and a birth certificate. Okay? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here, man. I went into like 3 or 4 different videos. Call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rahab Kakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth to rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom. I hope it brought some clarification about wormwood. I don't know, it did enlighten me, but then the Spirit sent me way over here. Shalom.